when at the April lows, we thought we could make a move back to 5,500.
Right, towards 5,900 on the S&P.
That's right. But our full year target was 6,600. So I think that's still a reasonable expectation.
You never changed that.
We haven't changed it.
Never did.
BitcoinZella stands out with its simplicity and clarity. We've crafted an experience that anyone can dive into, whether you're a crypto expert or just a new to the crypto world. Now, guess who keeps his eye on us? The author of best-selling book Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. And we want to take this opportunity and thank all the people who trusted us, and we read every comment. And the best part, it's free. Subscribing now means you will get all new information for free. Don't just follow the trends, stay ahead of them. Subscribe to BitcoinZella today and enjoy the new edge. Tom Lee breaks down data-driven strategies, market trends, and macro insights. Let's dive in and learn how to invest smarter.
Now that I look at 2026, I think businesses are in better shape now than they were in February. So I think making 6,600 actually seems more achievable today than it did in February.
You think a bull market started April 7th, or a new bull market started
Yes.
April 7th? In everything, because the NASDAQ already, if you just use 20% to measure what is an actual bull market, people think we need a broader indicator, a broader reason to call something a bull. But at this point, we think the S&P is also in a bull market.
Yeah, I think that the waterfall decline into the April lows was such a reset of sentiment. People talked about Armageddon, and we saw some of the most rapid deleveraging of hedge funds ever, and a collapse in investor sentiment, and a huge change in positioning. So those are, I think, things that look like what happens in a bear market. And the ISM has never broken above 50 in a sustained way. Market tops usually need an ISM to stay above 50 for a period of time. So I think we're at the start of a bull market. And as I look at 2026, I think housing could actually be a big lever to pull next year.
What do you think of the recent inflation data? And is it real? Is it lasting? Is it going to turn around and head back up because of tariffs? Were you surprised at those numbers on the last couple of Friday and then a couple weeks before then?
Well, as you know, the inflation for the last month actually has defied expectations because a lot of people said the shortages would cause a spike, and instead core inflation actually has been trending lower. But to me, inflation was really a story about housing and auto insurance. Those were powering inflation for the last 2 years. I mean, combined, that's 75% of the rise in inflation. Housing is actually now subtracting from inflation month over month. And I think in some ways, on a real-time basis, that tells me I don't think core inflation is actually going to be turning up, even if goods prices go up.
You don't?
No, I kind of agree with Waller's comments.
You do agree with Waller's comments?
Yeah.
So you're anticipating cuts, several cuts this year?
Well, I think that if core inflation behaves, then we are in a really tight real rate environment, right? 4.5% monetary policy and 2.5% or 2% core inflation. I mean, there's a need to actually reduce interest rates.
The SEC is stirring the crypto world again, this time with a surprising move that could reshape Bitcoin ETF and staking regulations. The agency has opened a public comment period on a proposed rule change for the Wisdom Tree Bitcoin Fund that would allow in-kind redemptions, letting investors receive actual Bitcoin instead of cash. While seemingly technical, this change could make Bitcoin ETF more efficient and tax-friendly and better aligned with how commodity ETF, like those tracking gold, already operate. If approved, Wisdom Tree's fund could become the first U.S. Bitcoin ETF to offer this long-requested feature. At the same time, the SEC has ignited controversy over new guidance suggesting some crypto staking services may not be securities. This softer stance has triggered backlash from legal experts and even internal dissent. Commissioner Caroline Crenshaw warned that the shift breaks from legal precedent and adds confusion, while former SEC Enforcement Chief John Reed Stark accused the agency of abandoning its duty. With opposing voices growing louder and internal disagreement intensifying, the SEC faces mounting pressure to clarify its crypto policy. As public input pours in over the next 21 days, the stakes are high. These decisions could define the future of digital asset regulation in the U.S.
Do you, Tom, at this point think that interest rates because it doesn't matter whether we reduce or not. Would the long end go up if they reduce the short end because of 37 trillion or this bill that's the big beautiful bill? Are there worrisome things on the horizon other than inflation, current inflation?
Well, yeah, the U.S. is on an unsustainable sort of path for deficits, but Japan's actually had higher rates and their interest rates have been behaving for a long time. I mean, not recently. So I think the long end is essentially unpredictable. When investors worry about it rising too dramatically, then I think that's when the bond market can have some influence on both the Fed and the Treasury. But I think at these levels, it's not that alarming.
So what's Bitcoin? What is it moving with? Just risk assets at this point? It got back to an all-time high, which you were forecasting as well. But
Yeah.
now I think, what are we, 104 this morning? So it's pulled back.
Yeah, I think it's consolidating. It makes sense. Bitcoin is responding to global liquidity, which is moving up, and I think anticipating a dovish Fed next year. So that's a tailwind for Bitcoin. But, Bitwise has a great stat. 95% of all Bitcoin's been mined, but 95% of the world doesn't own Bitcoin. So I just think that there's still a huge demand versus supply imbalance, meaning there's a lot more potential buyers of Bitcoin over the next 10 years. And so I think there's a lot of upside into year end.
Into your 150 target.
Yeah, 150, maybe 200, even 250 this year.
What? 150 to 200 to even 250. And what's you don't have a terminal price on that, do you?
Well, it's I think at a minimum it should have the same network value as gold. And if you look at above ground gold, it's probably 23 trillion. So that would be, 1.2 million for Bitcoin. But I think Bitcoin is more valuable than gold. So, Bitcoin could be 2 million, 3 million long term. Even higher.
Okay. Thank you. And we're talking years, obviously, but 95% mined. I don't think the last one is mined till 2150 or something.
Yeah.
It's getting harder and harder.
Yeah. Depending on what decimal you want to use, it's probably like, 2040 or something. But yeah, but if you're having something forever, it'll always.
So what's your terminal value then?
That's what we just said.
Yeah,
Well, the final.
He said 2.5 million.
2.5 million at the end.
Yeah.
Or maybe higher.
Or maybe
Sorry,
high.
I didn't appreciate that point.
Yeah, it could.
I guess
Or
I meant that does that happen at the end after it's all
when it's all mined.
when it's all mined,
But yeah, and there'll be network fees
or
generally.
does that happen before it's mined?
It's like as if Berkshire did a buyback and there was only one share left. What would Berkshire's share price be?
The Norwegian block exchange, NBX, just made headlines with a bold move buying Bitcoin for its treasury. On June 2, the Oslo-based crypto platform announced it had purchased 6 Bitcoin, worth around $633,700 at the time, and plans to increase that total to 10 BTC by the end of the month. The market responded instantly. NBS shares surged by over 138%, closing the day at €0.33, $0.38, marking one of the company's strongest trading days since its January 2022 peak. NBX isn't stopping there. The firm said it's actively raising more capital to expand its Bitcoin holdings and plans to use the cryptocurrency as collateral to issue USDM, a stablecoin operating on the Cardano blockchain. The Bitcoin will also generate yield and help improve operational efficiency, positioning the company as a digital asset bank. This bold move echoes other Norwegian companies like Aker ASA, which holds over 1,100 BTC, and brokerage firm K33, which raised $6.2 million to do the same. Even Norway's massive $1.7 trillion sovereign wealth fund has indirect Bitcoin exposure. As Bitcoin continues to become part of global financial infrastructure, NBX's strategy reflects a growing trend among companies using crypto to fuel growth and attract forward-thinking investors. And do not forget to subscribe to Bitcoin Seller. The most important news will reach your inbox on a daily basis and for free. I do not know why you have not subscribed yet. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more daily updates. Remember, knowledge is power, and we're here to empower you on your financial journey. Until next time, happy investing.